Hello, Year 2. Welcome back. Today we're on our second lesson of the week math lesson and we're going to be looking at turns. So make sure you've got your pencil and paper before we begin and then we can get straight into it. So our learning objective today is, can I describe turns? So today we're going to be looking at describing turns. There's a few key words that we need to know. So the first one is the one I've said already. It's what a turn is. So a turn is where an object starts off facing one point and then it changes the direction that it's facing. So I've got a bit of a diagram down here. You can see that the point in the middle is where we're stood and this line is the way that it's facing. So it's currently facing in a direction. If this was to turn, this line was to turn, it would then turn to face a different direction. So let's have a look at what that looks like. You can see it's spinning and now it has turned, it's done a few turns and it's now ended up in a different direction. The whole point of a turn is that you've started somewhere and you've finished somewhere else by rotating. So thinking about turning, there's two directions in which you can turn. You can either turn clockwise or anti-clockwise. So you can see I've got the two diagrams here. So my turn, your turn, clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. So you can see here that the red line, the red arrow is showing me what clockwise looks like. So it's going the correct way around the clock. It's going, if the hands were going this way, they'd be going clockwise. We've then got the opposite. And when we've got the word anti in front of it, it means the opposite. So the opposite of clockwise is anti-clockwise. So instead of going round to the right, it's going to turn to the left this time. So it says down here, clockwise involves a turn, so starting from this point in the middle facing forward, facing the 12, it's going to turn to the right and it's going to face down to the 6. And the anti-clockwise involves the same thing, but instead of turning right, you're going to turn left. So it involves going a turn to the left, going against the direction of the normal clock hands. As we say, clockwise to the right, anti-clockwise to the left. So now we're going to look at a full turn. So think about your knowledge of fractions, which is going to help you here. Think about what we mean when we said full fraction. What was a whole? Think about a full turn. So when an object is facing the same direction they started with, you can see we've got the start arrow facing here, but the finish arrow is also facing there. Does that mean they've not moved? Well, why would we have all this coloured in bit here if they've not moved? What do you think? Have a real good think. If your thought process is that actually they have moved, what they've done is they've done a full turn, then you're right. They've done a full turn. They've started and finished facing the same direction. Now, from this one, we can't tell whether they've turned clockwise or anti-clockwise because there's no arrows, and because they face the same direction at the end of it, there's no part that's missing that shows us whether they've gone to the right or to the left. So this turn could be done doing clockwise or anti-clockwise, it doesn't matter. Let's have a look at the next one. A quarter turn. So this is where an object rotates clockwise or anti-clockwise, but it only rotates once. It goes, if we break our circle up into 4 parts, so if I make my line going all the way down here and all the way across, you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. And a quarter is when you've done a turn of 1. You've done 1 turn. You've not done a full turn. You've not gone all the way around and started back at the beginning where you originally facing. You've done 1 turn going from this point here down to this point here, and you can see the bit that's coloured in green there. You can see where we've started and where we've finished. Now here's a good question. We've started facing forward and we've ended up facing to the right. Now, using your skills, knowing that clockwise was turning to the right and anti-clockwise was turning to the left, think about your sentence here. Your sentences will be, this person has done a quarter turn clockwise or anti-clockwise. What do we think? Talk to your teddy or an adult, have a think. If your answer was they've done a quarter turn clockwise, you'd absolutely be right because they've turned to the right-hand side. So well done. The next one we've got is a half turn. So again, if we split our circle up, our turn circle, into 4 parts, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can show that by having another line here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where we can see we've got our 4 equal parts. Now for this one, we've not just done one part of a turn, we've done 2 turns. We've done 2 turns, and that's half of our full turn. So we've done 2 turns out of 4 full turns. So thinking about that, looking at this one, if we've started here and we've finished facing down, let me get rid of this second arrow. So we've started here and we've finished facing down. Do you think we've done a clockwise turn, half turn, or an anti-clockwise half turn? Talk to your teddy or an adult. Have a really good think. Do we go right for clockwise or do we go left? Can you remember? For this, clockwise, we always go to the right, which means we must have gone clockwise because that's the bit that's filled in, the right of our circle's filled in, so we've gone clockwise. Now let's have another look. Oh, getting trickier now. A 3/4 turn. 3/4 turn. So we've started at the top and we've gone 1, 2, 3. 3 small turns to make 3/4 of a full turn. And you can see again, we've split our circle up into 4 parts. So at the minute, we're only missing one part that we've not done, but we've done 1, 2, 3 turns, which is 3/4. We've nearly done a full turn. Again, I think we should know this by now. Have we gone clockwise or anti-clockwise? Have we gone to the right or to the left? Well, because this part's missing here, we must have gone round to the clockwise way. We must have gone a 3/4 turn clockwise. Now, this is your challenge time. You're going to describe how the triangle has turned. Now remember, the triangle is going to turn in quarters. So it's going to start off facing the top for this one, and it's going to turn to this side, to the right. It's going to turn again to facing down. It's going to turn again to facing left, and then a full turn would be facing all the way back up. So now looking at this one, facing up, how has our triangle gone from facing up to facing down? How many turns has it done? Has it done a quarter turn, a half turn, 3/4 turn, or has it done a full turn? Have a think. That's your first part. We're going to have a think about what kind of turn it's done. So pause the video, have a discussion, and then let's move on. So we're looking at this, it must, if it's facing at the top and it's now facing down, there's only one type of turn it could have done, which is a half turn. So we're going to write in the word half. There we are. It's done a half turn. Now, the next point is blank. What do we think we need to tell our people that are reading our work? The triangle has made a half turn. Which way? Has it made a half turn clockwise, or has it made a half turn anti-clockwise? Well, this is what this arrow's for here. This arrow, is the arrow pointing round to the right, or is it pointing to the left? Well, it looks like it's going round to the right, which means, if we remember, right is clockwise. So we need to write in clockwise here. Okay, so let's have a look at this next triangle. It's facing to the left, to the left for you. Okay, it's facing to the left this way, and it's going to use that arrow, and we're going to tell us which way it's going to go. Now it's turning. What kind of turn is it done there? It's done from facing to the left, and it's done one turn facing up. Can you remember what one turn was called? What did we call just one turn? Have a think. It was a quarter. It's done a quarter turn. Now, using the arrow again, is it facing right, our arrow, or is it facing left? Well, we can see our arrows facing to the right again, which means it must have done a quarter turn clockwise. So that must be our sentence. The triangle has made a quarter turn clockwise, full stop. The last one, this one looks like a tricky one. We've started down at the bottom, and then we've gone to the right. Now, it could have been that we made 1, 2, 3 quarter turn. It could have been. However, what do we need to look for now? Let's have a look. What's next to it? It's our arrow, and our arrow's not telling us that we're going to the right this time. It's telling us we're going round to the left. We're going left round the clock. So if we're going left, it can't be clockwise. It must be anti-clockwise, which means instead of doing 3 turns, a 3 quarter turn this way, it must have done a quarter turn anti-clockwise. So that's going to be our sentence. The triangle has made a quarter turn anti-clockwise. That way, we can definitely tell that our triangle is still facing the same way, but because if we'd not looked at our arrow, then we would have got the question wrong. So that's right, it's really important to make sure that arrow is telling us which way we're turning. This is your time to have a go now. So with somebody at home, choose and perform a turn. So you're going to choose a turn and you're going to do it. Now, your partner needs to describe the turn that you're going to do in the key words that we've used. So your partner's going to tell you, you need to do either full turn, half turn, quarter turn, or 3 quarter turn. And then your partner needs to also tell you, are you turning clockwise or anti-clockwise? And then you can swap. So just to remind you, our STEM sentence for today will be, you have made a either full turn, half turn, quarter turn, or 3 quarter turn. And then you need to tell the person whether they've done it clockwise or anti-clockwise. Remember, clockwise was to the right, turning right. Anti-clockwise was to the left, okay? So you need to remember that. I know my image is flipped, so it's going to look like I'm pointing in the wrong direction. I do apologize about that, but you need to remember that your full turn, half turn, quarter turn, and 3 quarter turn are your key words, and then your other keywords would be clockwise and anti-clockwise to tell you which way you're turning. Then, once you've had a go with that, and you can have a couple of goes, swap with who's telling who to turn which way. Then, question 2, part 2 of your work, is to complete the questions below on a piece of paper. Describe how the turtle has turned. So look at the turtle, look at the arrow. What way has it turned? Now, if it doesn't look like it's changed, maybe, and have a look back in this video if you're not sure, maybe if it's facing the same direction it started with, what kind of turn has it done? I'm not going to tell you, you need to work this one out for yourself. So thank you very much for coming along to these lessons. I know it's a little bit different without Miss Gossage, but she'll be back 100% for next week because I don't think she's going to let me teach another maths lesson. I'm definitely not as good as her, but I'm trying my best. So can you make sure you're adding your work to Tapestry? And then once you've done that, we can be adding it to your profile. Thank you very much for coming along, Year 2. I'll see you later. Bye-bye now.